I'm Jenny. Welcome back, or welcome for the first time if you've never been here before. I want to talk a little bit about some practical ways that you can save money on your utility bills. And as always, you are welcome to write in the comments things that you might be doing to help save some money, and that will help all of us out. Just please remember, when you're writing in the comment section, please be nice, okay? Other than that, let's go. So we are headed into summer here. It might be still a little chilly where some of you are living, but it's kind of borderline right now. Actually, kind of, for me, in the morning might need the heat, but in the afternoon need the air conditioning. It's a weird time right now in Georgia. So as far as heating your house, maybe try turning the heat down a little bit or up a little bit. What's the right word? Instead of having it set at 70, maybe set it at 65. And in the summertime, instead of setting it at, say, 70 or 72, maybe set it at like 78, 80. I know that might sound like it's not very cool, but if it's 90 degrees outside and 80 degrees inside, it's still cooler inside. And then if you have ceiling fans, use your ceiling fans. So, and here's the trick with the ceiling fans. In the summertime, you want the ceiling fans blowing down. So it may sound counterproductive because you're blowing hot air down, but what happens is you're going to feel that air movement, and it's going to make you feel cooler. In the wintertime, you want to do the opposite. You want it to blow up towards your ceiling, and what that does is it sucks the cooler air up, but it also pushes the warmer air down. So it helps keep the air warmer your house warmer in the wintertime. And because it's blowing up, you're not going to feel that strong air movement like you would if it was blowing down. Another thing that you can do, check out your appliances. There's a lot of appliances, and we have so many now, that are considered vampires. And what that means is that even when you're not using them, they still have electricity going through them. And you're going to have to weigh some of this out, whether or not this is practical for you or not. For example, TVs right now typically are constantly going with the electricity running through them. And I had one, I used to turn it off, but then I decided not to because it takes so long to reboot when I would do that. And for me, it was an annoyance. And then I started recording some of my shows. And of course, if it's not plugged in, you can't record your shows. So you have to weigh that out, but TVs are one of them. Microwaves are another one. You know, so many microwaves have clocks on them. Do you need a clock on your microwave? Is it absolutely necessary? If it's not, unplug it. Just plug it in when you need it. And some of your other appliances, if they have, this is how you know. If there's a little light on or a clock on it, you know that it's going to be sucking electricity. Some of the other things that suck electricity that we don't even think about are our charger cords. If they're plugged in, there's electricity going into it. I know some people that unplug everything. They unplug their toaster, their air fryers, their mixers, anything that they have on their counters that they don't want running, they unplug it. And that's also safer, to be honest with you, because if you have it unplugged and there's no electricity in it, it reduces a fire risk. So that's another thing that you can do, is figure out what appliances and what things that you have plugged in that are those vampires that are sucking the electricity that you don't necessarily use all the time 24/7, and unplug them, or put them on a power strip and just turn the power strip off when you're not using them. I've done that. Another thing that you can do to save on your electricity, as far as as far as your laundry goes, well, first of all, is you fill the tub to the appropriate height. So if you don't have a full load of laundry, maybe you only have a half a load, don't fill it all the way to the top. Just fill it according to the load that you have. And you use cold water. If you don't need to use hot or warm water, use cold water. And also line dry your clothes. Now, oops, I'm so sorry. Some things, like bath towels, get kind of scratchy if you line dry them, and a lot of guys like that. I don't know. I don't. Girls don't. So I have 2 tricks that you can do, and you're gonna have to weigh this out because it's not for everybody. I'm just giving you ideas, okay? The first thing you can do is go ahead and line dry it until it's dry or almost dry. These are your bath towels and your washcloths and things like that, stuff that you want fluffy and soft. And then finish drying them off for half the time or less time in your dryer, or even if they dry all the way and you throw them in the dryer just to kind of, it'll fluff them up. You can throw a dryer sheet in there too, and it'll soften them and it'll fluff them up. And you don't have to dry them for 60 minutes this way. The other thing you can do, and this is a part that may not work for some people, but what I do is I add extra fabric softener to the rinse water for my towels and things that I want soft. And like I said, if you're somebody who has a problem with fabric softeners, they're not good for you, they cause problems, that may not work. But in the end, hang drying them, obviously it's going to use less electricity. And here's a bonus: if you can hang them outside, you get the disinfectant effect of the UV rays from the sun. And if you can't hang them outside, you can buy these collapsible, they call them dryers. They're like hanging racks. You can get them at Walmart. You can buy them online, and you can just hang it in your apartment. So I've done it in the apartment before, and just I put it in the bathtub, and then just close the curtain and nobody can see what you got hanging there. That's what I did, or do if I can't hang them outside. So that's another thing that you can do. Another thing that you can do to save on your electricity now that it's getting warmer, maybe cook outside. Get a barbecue or a grill or a smoker and cook your food outside. Then you don't even have the heat in the house. You've got, a different kind of food that you might not be able to eat all year round. And you're not jacking up the heat in your house by cooking inside. And you're not using your gas or electric. You're using charcoal, or, well, you may be using electric or some other kind of gas, but it's a different way of cooking, and it keeps the heat out of your house if you have the ability to do that. What else? Of course, we want to remember to turn off the lights when we go out of a room if we're not in the room. And there's some kind of an old wives' tale as far as, it costs more money to turn the light on and off. That is not true, okay? I don't know where that came from. I've heard it before, but it is not true, okay? When an appliance or a machine or a light bulb or anything else is off, and I mean completely off, not little red dots, there's no electricity being used, okay? There's no gas being used. So turning something off, because I get criticized for that too when I get out of my car or when I stop or something, I turn the car off because then it's not consuming gas. It uses more gas to start it. No, it doesn't. It may have 50 years ago when we were kids and we had different technology back then. It wasn't as advanced as it is now. But no, not now. We have been very conscious of our consumption for most of my life. And if something's off, completely off, it's off. It's not consuming, okay? So that is not true. It is an old wives' tale. It's not true. If you're not using it, turn it off. Your pets don't need to have the electricity going or the radio going. I know some people think they do. Most of the time, they're not paying attention. Turn it off. Okay? And sorry about that. Trying to think what else can we do. Oh, here's a good hint or tip. In the wintertime, you want to open your windows, okay? Not your glass windows, but the curtains in your windows and the shades, and let the sunshine in, because that will help heat your house. It also helps light your house. In the summertime, unless it's a dark room, you can buy blinds maybe and let half the light in. But in the summertime, you want to shut your curtains and block the sun from coming in, okay? Because the sun is going to cook your house. And then there's other things that you can do too. Check around your door frames, and if you need to, get some weather stripping, or they make, well, put something across the bottom of the door to keep the air from coming in or out. Even you can look in Etsy or look on some of the DIY channels they have some really cute different ways of making little, I don't know what they call them, windbreaks, I don't know, little things that go across the bottom of the door, and you fill them with sand or rice or something, and they block the air from blowing underneath the door. And some of them are adorable. They make them look like little ducks and dogs, or a snake, or different kind of animals. They're just whimsical, but that's something that you can do. Also, you want to dress appropriately for the weather. So in the summertime, you want to wear lighter weight fabrics. You want to wear less clothes. It makes a lot more sense to turn the air conditioning down a little bit and take the sweater off. And the opposite is true in the wintertime. Wear layers. I wear layers all year round. Every day of my life, I wear a tank top. Every single day. And as I'm working, of course I'm working, so I'm getting hot. And even in the coldest part of the winter, I'm still running around these people's houses in tank tops because I'm warm, okay? But when I leave my house, I have sometimes up to 4 or 5 layers on because I'm sitting in my car. I'm walking from my car. So I might have a jacket, a sweater, a sweatshirt, and this tank top on. And just depending on where it is throughout the day, I'm taking those layers off. Now in the summertime, I obviously can't take any more off, but I try to stick with natural fabrics and lightweight fabrics and be as comfortable as I possibly can in the hottest part of the winter. And the other part of it is maybe time your active time. So in the wintertime, like I said, I get hot because I'm moving around and I'm doing active things. And that's why I'm warmer than some of the people who are sitting at a desk or just sitting out there watching TV or whatever. They're not doing what I'm doing, and so they don't feel as warm as I do. And in the summertime, you might want to flip that around. Instead of going outside and working in your yard at the hottest part of the day, you could go out in the morning when it's cooler, or in the evening when it's cooler, and do your inside work at the high point of the day. So just be aware of your natural surroundings and what's going on, and time your activities according to that. And I'm going to tell you something. I like to garden, and going out in the morning when everybody's asleep, it's daylight, but maybe your kids or your spouse is still asleep, the neighborhood's quiet. It is a wonderful time to be in a garden if that's something that you like to do. I'm just saying, it's cool, it's quiet, the birds start waking up, there's not a lot of traffic, it's very therapeutic in my opinion. Just saying. That's a little side note. But those are some of my tips as far as saving some money. Here's another one. I just thought of this one. If you look at your hot water heater, it has a little arrow. It's probably set at 120 degrees. I think a lot of people want the water hotter than that, which, first of all, is dangerous. That's how you get burns. But second of all, the higher you set that hot water heater, the more often it's going to kick on. And it doesn't matter if it's gas or electric. That's a thermostat that sets that temperature at wherever you designate it. You can cut that consumption down, the energy consumption, to keep that water hot just by moving that down 5 or 10 degrees, so 110. The other thing you can do, this I learned from my sister, she was going through a rough patch, turn the hot water heater off. You can turn your hot water heater off. So if you're going on vacation or you're just totally strapped for money and you don't need hot water all day long, but maybe just to do your dishes or take baths and things like that, turn it on maybe an hour before you're ready to use it. So, you know, turn it on when you start cooking dinner. That way you've got hot water after dinner to wash your dishes. Or turn it on, you know, when you get up, eat your breakfast. After breakfast, go take your shower. Or if you shower at night, put it on an hour before you're planning on taking your shower. But you don't have to have that hot water heater running 24/7. Now, if you have a gas hot water heater, you might want to be careful. You don't want to turn it all the way down so that the pilot goes out. You don't want your pilot going out, because for a couple reasons. First of all, you don't want a gas leak. But second of all, that's a pain in the neck. But you can turn it way down. You know what I'm saying? And this may be a desperate measure for some people, but I'm just putting things out there. There are times when maybe we need to really get drastic in the ways that we save. Okay? So, another thing I thought of. And also, when you're washing your face in the sink or brushing your teeth, you've probably heard this before, turn that water off in between. So turn the water on, suds up your face, turn the water off while you scrub or while you shave or whatever it is that you're doing while you're brushing, and then turn the water back on to rinse your face or to rinse out your mouth or whatever it is. You don't need to have that water running constantly. There. What else? I think that's it for now. If I think of something else, I'll post another video. Please, if you got any ideas, put them down below. We can use all the help that we can get, and I appreciate every single one of you. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.